It ain't our ball. It's our ball, ain't it? It's our ball! Hey! It's our ball!
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Our Ball Podcast. My name is Ryan. I'm joined by Josh, as always, the co-hosts here on the Our Ball Podcast. Check us out on social media at Our Ball Pod on everywhere, and links to everything will be in the description. The New York Knicks going to the NBA Finals for the first time since 1999. They sweep the Cleveland Cavaliers. We'll talk about the Knicks. We'll talk about what's next for the Cavs. And we'll take a look over at the Western Conference Finals. Knotted up at 2 apiece. Spurs, Thunder, taking a leg, taking a shoulder off each other. They're going back and forth. The Spurs blew out the Thunder to claim Game 4. We'll talk about that series and how we feel about our predictions that we had earlier in the week if you want to check out that episode. But before we get into everything, Josh, how are you feeling? How are you doing, man?
I'm feeling great, man. I'm feeling great. That game last night was great. Watching it, just, a satisfying win. You're going into the elimination game. You want to capitalize on that, and that's exactly what the Knicks did. I'm looking forward to seeing them in the finals. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm looking forward to seeing them against the Spurs, mainly. The Spurs, I'm looking forward to seeing them win tonight. I think it's going to happen going into the road. I think A.J. Mitchell was out. I think Jalen Williams is a game-time decision, so we'll see what happens with him. But I think OKC dealing with their injury issues and lineup issues, I think that's going to be a hassle for them to deal with. The Spurs, they're healthy.
Yeah, and I think what stands out to me about that series is just how competitive it is. You have the Thunder, you have the Spurs, where I think these are the two best teams in the Western Conference. I felt that way going into the postseason. I felt like they were the two best teams in the NBA. And I've definitely changed a little bit on where I sit with that. Especially after the Knicks run, which we'll get into. But that series is just night and day from the ECF. The Eastern Conference Finals was Josh, it wasn't close. It wasn't competitive. Game 1 was competitive, but it feels like once the Knicks came back in Game 1, the Cavs are just kind of dead in the water. It reminds me of, I can't even say it reminds me of last year's Game 1 where the Knicks lose Game 1, they lose Game 2, they go down 2-0, but they went on the road and beat Indiana to make it 2-1. They made it a series again at that point in time. Granted, they didn't go on to lose a series, and the Pacers did kind of beat the Knicks pretty handedly in a lot of the games that they won. It felt like the Cavs kind of, I don't want to use the word quit here, because I don't think it was a lack of effort that killed them. I just think the Knicks were the better team across the board, and Josh, this was the most expensive roster in the NBA. They're a second apron team. They are going to have to pay more to keep Donovan Mitchell next year. James Harden is still around. What did you see from this Cavs team in this series? And man, what are the next steps?
I didn't see much out of anybody except Mitchell. I think Mobley, you got to just move on from him. He's a good player, but I don't think that double big lineup is really going to work, not with this team. And I think you also have to do something about Mitchell and Harden, not necessarily both, but just assess that situation where, you have these two guards that they don't really consider defense as a major factor in their game. And I think that's very detrimental to the team, as you saw. You saw Bridges, elite perimeter defender, and Anunoby, elite perimeter defender, even off the bench. McBride, you have guys who, they play defense. Alvarado, they play defense. And you can see that everybody has their role that they excel in, and that's why the Knicks went far. The Cavs, they don't really have that. Like, Strus is supposed to be their knockdown shooter. He wasn't knocking down his shots. Merrill would come in and just get fouls for no reason. It was funny. Jared Allen, I guess he was doing all right on defense. He was doing whatever he could, but it was just, a lot of movement from the Knicks and a lot of transition buckets as well. They just got out. They got out running.
Yeah, and it felt like, so the issue with the double bigs lineup for the Cavs is that they are always going to have two guys who can't rely on to shoot in the postseason. And I actually got a lot of, I went back and forth with people on this because I was talking about this with Josh Hart, where it doesn't matter that a guy's like a 34% shooter from three in the postseason. If teams don't treat you like you're a threat from three and leave you open, it means they think you're a bad shooter. And the league believes that Evan Mobley is not a good shooter. I don't care that he shot 37% from there on 3 attempts last year. He shot 30% from there this year. You can leave him wide open, and more times than not, it's going to work out in your favor. He didn't get it's insanely hot from three. They don't get any three-point production or spacing from Jarrett Allen. They didn't get much shooting from Sam Merrill and Max Strus. Merrill just went ice cold after game one.
Yeah.
And the guy who was supposed to come in, replace Darius Garland, provide shot creation, playmaking, most importantly, spacing, right? James Harden shot 17.9% from three this series.
Couldn't shoot. It's crazy. I don't know what it. I was talking to it with my mom and my little brother. I don't know what it is with him and how every year, this time of year, he just does the same thing.
Yep.
Where it's just inconsistency. I don't get it. I don't know if it's a mental thing. I don't know if it's like the lights get too bright. I don't understand. I don't get it because you can deliver the same way. The way you've been doing it all season, he averaged 24, 25 points this year.
Yep.
Deliver it the same way. It doesn't even have to be 25. Something, anything, 20, something. He did he even crack 20 once this series? I think he did one time, and it was just honestly it's embarrassing, especially for me because I would defend Harden in a lot of arguments, but I can't defend this. I can't keep defending this. This is crazy. Mitchell, he gave a lot of effort, and I think you saw that clip right where he was in the huddle. And the team is just not paying attention. Nobody, everyone has their head down. They're out of it. He's the only one talking, looking like the only one ready to compete. And I think that encapsulates the whole Cavaliers experience this series and this playoffs.
I think that while in a lot of cases, and look, Donovan Mitchell has to share some of this, right? Game one, that collapse, I think he went scoreless in the fourth quarter, right? That does fall on him, right? But usually stars get a chance to make up for something like that. He never had a chance. Never had a chance. I mean, it didn't matter what he did. They were getting walloped. The Knicks slaughtered them in 3 straight games. This was the most uncompetitive series the Knicks have played in. They went down 2-1 in Atlanta, and then they proceeded to kind of beat the brakes off them after, but still went down 2-1 in Atlanta. There were some games against Philly that came down to the wire. There were games that were close. There were games that I'd say the box score kind of misleads as to how close it was, or a great fourth quarter from the Knicks allowed them to pull away. Point is, there was one game where it felt like the Knicks were going to lose. Outside of that, the Knicks were in control of literally every game in this series.
Yeah.
Every single game. There was never a shadow of a doubt that the Knicks were winning game 4. And you know what I know that the Knicks were winning game 4? Once I knew? When we saw Kenny Atkinson talk about some analytically, they had already won. They should have won 2 out of the first 3. Now, I think this is a bad stain, not on analytics because I think data is bad, but for Kenny Atkinson, how do you look at, okay, if you want to say you should have won game 1, that's fine. Am I missing something? Which one of games 2 or 3 were the Cavs supposed to win?
Yeah, I don't know. And I think he's talking about percentages or I guess the types of shots they were shooting and that they couldn't make. I'm not sure, but I don't know. I just think it's ridiculous that it's that much of a gap between teams and it's the Eastern Conference Finals. It's
it's crazy.
The best team in the East is always absolute. It's never really a competition. That's what I noticed over these last few years where you have the Eastern Conference Finals, whoever comes out on top, it's never a 7-game series. It hasn't been a 7-game series since I don't know when. Well, you want to say Miami and the Celtics maybe?
Yeah, that was the year that the Celtics went down 3-0. So it looked like we were going to get an uncompetitive ECF, and then it became, oh my God, this is a series. And then Game 7 was wildly lopsided. The Heat ran away with that basketball game, so that was a weird one. And can I say this about the Cavs? This was kind of the chance to go for and get yours.
Yeah, I always, throughout this whole Donovan Mitchell experience, I've always felt like the team never really had it. But them getting past the second round, it's okay, this is your time to kind of get it. Because I don't know how else they're going to get. I mean, Harden's only getting older. Jarrett Allen's only getting older. I mean, and then Harden's on a player option. I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't want to consider it. But I know he's going to opt in because who else is going to sign him? You know what I mean? It's funny. The Cavs are in a terrible spot as always.
It makes me really, it really frustrates me with James Harden because all this guy had to do was put it together for one well-timed postseason. I think of the Celtics series with the 76ers when they went up 3-2 and proceeded to fall over themselves. I thought truly, that was probably his best chance of the remaining, like, of the post Rock or the post Nets years, because the Nets, they had the chance with KD and the foot on the line and all that stuff. But I felt like since that point in time, Celtics Sixers is going to look at that as one of his greatest missed opportunities. Because could you imagine the narrative? Joel Embiid and James Harden beat Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray in the NBA Finals, and the Sixers break their drought. And Harden was the guy they brought in, and he was the co-star that they needed, and they traded Ben Simmons to get him, and all the narrative and everything that would have surrounded it. That's a huge missed opportunity. And unfortunately, like, I think for 2018 and 2019, I give him a pass. Like, playing in the conference with the Warriors, I'll give him a pass for it. There was also a missed opportunity in 2018, right? Like, if he plays a decent Game 7, they probably win. And there were opportunities after. That's the problem. He's had multiple opportunities to get his team to the finals, and he has fallen flat every time.
I feel like 2018 was probably the one where, like, I guess, I don't know. I usually excuse that one because, I mean, Chris Paul went down.
Yeah, that's fair.
A weird situation. I think that, yeah, the missing the 27 threes thing was crazy. I remember that, but I don't know. I just feel like they wouldn't even have been in that situation. No Chris Paul. The whole offense is kind of different. So I think there, and I think 2019 was a little different also. I don't know. I think Harden, like, he's just been in weird positions in his career where it's like you're going up against a crazy team. I mean, 2016 you're going up against Warriors. 2017 you're going up against the Spurs. 18, 19 you're going up against KD Warriors. Like, I don't know. Like, it's kind of like how, like, what do you want him to do? It's like, I don't know. I think that post that, yeah, you could definitely place a lot of blame on him because you were an MVP caliber player. Like, you kind of showed that you wanted to be the best player on a championship team, and you never really brought that on any of your other teams that you wanted to be on. You never really brought that championship play, right, to any of the other teams that you were on post Houston. So that I agree with, but I think genuinely throughout his career, throughout his prime, I think he had a lot of unfortunate circumstances. That's just how I see it.
I don't know. I really
conference finals with Clint Capella and, like, PJ Tucker, like, you know what I'm saying? Like Chris Paul is great. Great. But, like, bro, he was doing his thing in the playoffs. I feel like he's only considered
for
a
sure
dropper because he was going against the Warriors. Like, you're going against the Spurs. Like, you're losing to those teams. I don't know.
I think his post Nets years are the years that you go, wow, yeah, he's a choker. Not the Rockets one is kind of what I was trying to get at, where it's like those were missed opportunities. You had a chance. You had a chance twice now to go to the finals. And look, if they lose to the Spurs or the Thunder, right, even if it's in like a pretty like forgettable 5-game series, okay, you got there. Right? Like, the Cavs were not going to the finals without you. And I know I've seen, like, Cavs fans say, well, we wouldn't go to the Eastern Conference Finals without him. And to an extent, I agree. Like, if you had Darius Garland instead of James Harden, are you here? I understand that, right? But if you basically traded multiple years of a younger player for a guy who makes more money and is very limited in how long he will be effective for, and you did so just to go to the Eastern Conference Finals, you didn't get the value you wanted. You should be able to do that without James Harden. You are the most expensive roster in the NBA. You have had Donovan Mitchell for half a decade now. Donovan Mitchell has, again, some blame in this, right? But for the most part, was good enough in this series that you should have won it, or at least should have taken a game or two somewhere, right? I don't really know the next step for the Cavs. You can fire Kenny Atkinson. You can say it's the head coach, and I don't think Kenny Atkinson is innocent or blameless in all of this. But what is that going to fix? Is it going to change the fact that you've got two floor spacers? James Harden can never reliably shoot in the postseason. And look, Max Strus, Sam Merrill, they can shoot. That's cool. They're role players. They wouldn't start on the Knicks. They wouldn't start on the Thunder. They wouldn't start on the Spurs. Right? Like, There are levels to this. You are, again, the most expensive roster in the NBA, and you're only going to get more expensive. You have to pay Donovan Mitchell next. That's your next step. So what next? You're going to have less money to build around Donovan Mitchell with. I don't know how this is going to go, man. I really am worried about them. You got any final thoughts? Because I
don't. I'm just glad Knicks got out of there really easy. Knicks, I'm very proud of them. You know,
Yeah.
My introduction to being a basketball fan was, Jeremy Lin. My parents, watching them in the living room, just coming in, just seeing what's going on, and I just became a Knicks fan there. And then they got rid of him. They got rid of Lin. They got rid of Novak. They did a lot of crazy moves throughout those early years, throughout those, early 2010s, mid 2010s years, where it's just like it's hard to even stick around.
Yeah.
That's where the LeBron fandom came in. It's like it's hard to root for a team that's like bottom conference, or like it's like you trying to make a run to the playoffs and you can't. It's like
every year was over in March.
It's like top 8 teams. Like, come on, man. Like, I don't know, man. Those years were stressful, man. 2015, 16. I wasn't even rooting for. I wasn't even looking for him. I was like, all right, it's whatever, man.
Yeah, you're just like waiting for the lottery. Like being a Knicks fan for a decade was legitimately, hey, did we get the number 1 overall pick? The number 2, number 3? No? Okay, we're gonna end up drafting some bum. Like that was the cycle. And for the Knicks, this is both, I think, for the city, awesome, but I also look at the individual storylines in this lineup. Josh, I was thinking about this, right? The Knicks don't have a single player that they drafted in their starting lineup. Brunson, Anunoby, Bridges, Hart, Cat, either free agency or trade. Actually, I think all but Brunson were trades. But when you look at their story arcs, all of these guys were either wrongfully kind of just tossed away, in the case of like a Jalen Brunson, overlooked. They were kind of rotting around. Nobody really viewed them as a key part of a roster. Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, and OG Anunoby were defined starters on teams who were ready to move on from them. And in the case of Cat, the Timberwolves believed that getting rid of Cat was best for their roster. They chose Rudy Gobert over Karl Anthony Towns. And for all of these guys, to an extent, their original team was correct to assess that there were serious flaws about these players. Cat couldn't play defense. Bridges, like, I understand why Nets fans, right? And on top of that, dude, like, hey, man, there was a little bit of like, dude, you're playing the Knicks and then you're dapping him up and you're buddy-buddy with him after. Do you just want to be there? Do you even want to be here? For Anunoby, he was constantly hurt. For Brunson, he's too small. Without Luka, what's he going to do?
Yeah, they was like, he's overpaid. Why
Does anyone
so much?
No one even cared about Josh Hart anymore. He was on the Portland Trailblazers after not making it with the Pelicans, after being traded in the Anthony Davis trade from the Lakers, right? Like, all of these guys had valid concerns around them, but they have come to the Knicks and gotten better. Josh Hart is a playmaking, like, weird, versatile. Like, he's a weird player. He's one of one in a very weird way. Anunoby has become more durable. He is an excellent defensive player. He's become incredibly efficient on offense. He dunks and shoots threes. High percentage thumbs-up shots. Mikal Bridges in this postseason has really stepped up as a defender. Brunson's obviously become an elite offensive player. And Cat, like, dude, Cat isn't a turnover on defense. He's actually helping the Knicks on defense. He's helping them. He's a playmaker. It's crazy, and it's awesome to watch this group of guys who all had media narratives against them before they were Knicks, coming to the Knicks, failing in some respects. Like, Mikal Bridges was enemy number 1 at some point. Cat was enemy number 1 at some point. Josh Hart is always like, should he be in the lineup or not? I don't even know if he should be in the starting lineup. I always think about that. Should it be Shamet for the shooting? Should it be McBride for the shooting? Who knows? Brunson, he's overpaid. And in the case of Cat, I think Cat is the most severe one of, I'm not sure anybody has been more criticized than Cat in the last, 5 years. He's soft. He's a baby. He can't play defense. I know it's a very long diatribe here, but Josh, that's what makes it really cool. That's what makes it really cool to me.
I'm listening. And, hey, shout out McBride, three three-pointers last night. Kolek, 2 threes. Shamet, 4 threes. My boy Shamet, always reliable off the bench the last 3 years. Since 2024, third year in a row doing it. Really before that, actually. Cat, just stuffing the stat sheet as usual. Once they, I want to give credit to Mike Brown early in the playoffs for making the right adjustments to the lineup and changing the offense around. And Cat just been way more useful on offense instead of just being just a stretch, just a pick and fade, stretch. No, he's dishing the ball. 2 steals, 2 blocks. Like you said, on defense, he was doing his thing. OG, 17 points, 2 steals. He was just he was all over the place. Really watching it, like when you really watch it and you see how everybody's feeling in their own way. It's not like everybody's gonna have 30 or whatever. No, it's gonna look like this. Everybody in the teens, but they're all getting it at the same time. Like the score at one point was like 38-26 or something like that. Like it was like within 15 for the Cavs. Then it ballooned to like 28. like the Knicks just went on a crazy run after the Cavs timeout. It did not matter. Like, hey man, shout out to the Knicks. Shout out Mike Brown.
I'm gonna pull up a couple of crazy stats from this postseason so far, and I think this is gonna blow your mind. So in 2023-2024, this is the year that the Knicks beat the Sixers and then lose in round 2 to the Pacers, right? So, this is kind of the year where the Knicks start breaking out of the like fringe playoff team to they could actually do something in the East. Jalen Brunson averaged 26.2 field goals attempts per game. And his usage rate in that postseason was 36.4%.
Yeah,
led the postseason in usage and field goal attempts. Fast forward to this year, usage rate is down to 30.5%. It's the lowest he's had in a postseason since his first year at the Knicks. And his field goal attempts per game have dropped to a career low 20 field goal attempts per game. So they've cut it down. Like he's not the only guy who can do something. They can run it through Cat, OG, Bridges, Hart. They're utilizing the gravity that Brunson has. Credit to Towns. This is crazy. The Knicks had 3 guys with more assists in this series than anybody on the Cavs. Cat had 16 assists. Hart had 22. Brunson had 31. Nobody on the Cavs had more than 12.
Did you see on the broadcast where they showed like when the Knicks would get a rebound, they're running down the floor, just beating the Cavs down the floor like 6 times in a row, 6 possessions. They're just beating them down the floor, just running. 'Cause that's all you got to do is just hustle, just run. The Cavs they just seemed out of it. Like they just, like what Charles said they quit. He was right. They definitely, it just seemed that way. It didn't seem like an Eastern Conference Finals.
It didn't.
I'll let you finish.
No, the one last one, which just stunned me. Josh Hart, 22 made field goals. James Harden, 21 made field goals.
And, that's crazy, man. That's wild.
Just stunned me.
Because, Harden is still considered, like, a top 5 shooting guard. But I think this really is a stain on his, like, on his career, in my opinion. I don't care how old he is. Like, I don't know, man. Just looking at his peers from that same age group, that same, like, that area of that draft class, right? Curry and KD, even like Westbrook. Westbrook gets him where he fits in. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know what's up with Harden, man. I don't know. I would love for him to just be a stretch, but just be reliable. Like, just be a corner guy or, like, just, be a shooter. But, like, he's not reliable. That's the only thing. It's like when it matters, he just doesn't bring whatever you expect at him. He just doesn't do it. I remember in that Sixers series we were talking about. I think it was game 1 or game 2. He had like 45. Like he was cooking. And then it was like the final game of the series, and he had like, I think like 15 or something. Like it was just like, bro, like how do you do that? I don't know. I don't understand. Because it's like
it's crazy.
So many times that you could score on demand when asked, and then it's just what happens in May. What happens? I don't know.
It's such a, I could go on for so long about the Harden experience. One question I do want to ask about this Knicks team, Josh, and I think this is the ultimate question, right? Okay, they're here. Awesome. This is an accomplishment, right? Can they beat the Spurs or the Thunder? You've got people suggesting that this is going to be a blowout. You've got odds makers already giving the Spurs and the Thunder around a 70% chance apiece to win a series against the Knicks. Josh, can the Knicks beat the Spurs or the Thunder, and why?
I think they could beat both teams simply because of their attitude and the way they approach the game, the way how, kind of like I said earlier, each role player knows their role. They stick to their role. They perform well in their role. They don't really get stopped because it's a lot of motion that goes on. It's not like ISO ball. Like with Shea, I think the Knicks have the best chance at beating OKC. Or I mean, obviously OKC would have to beat the Spurs to run into the Knicks, but I think the Knicks would beat them in like a 5 or 6 game series. It wouldn't be too hard because they rely on SGA too much. And so I think you slow that down and you force those other guys to really create. They get put in tough positions. And I think in the early games of the Spurs series where it was close games, I think they lost the first game, right? They lost the game of OT.
Yes.
Look at what SGA was doing in that game. It took the second game for them to win, and look at what SGA scoring. That's what it takes. If he's taken out of the equation, they look completely different. It's similar to how the Lakers guarded them. If they guard him the same way, which Mike Brown will probably do, I don't know. And I think Chet is very soft. I think what they said about Cat is really Chet. Sadly, I hope he gets better over the course of his career because he's very young, but I don't know. I don't like how Wemby could just go at him and he just take that. I don't know. I don't get it.
Oh man, I mean, I could go on for hours about the Wemby Chet stuff and all that. I mean, look, and I guess we're gonna kind of segue into the Western Conference stuff. And I will say, I agree. I think the Knicks can beat the Thunder. I think the Knicks can beat the Spurs. They have excellent 3-point shooting. They're a really strong defensive team. If you look at the best player in a series, obviously it's going to go to either the Thunder or the Spurs. I think SGA is better than Jalen Brunson. I think Victor Wembanyama is better than Jalen Brunson. But when you look at the second best player in a potential series, the way that Cat's playing right now, he looks like he's clearly the second best player in any series, right? If you're the Knicks, you're our number 2, I'll take him over your number 2. And you look at the way that Bridges has played and Anunoby has played and the way that Hart has played and their bench, you feel like you can match up talent-wise, even though you don't feel like you have the best player in the series. And I would even say this, Brunson has played as if he is an MVP player in this postseason, and he kind of traditionally just does so.
I think See, I was saying this to my mom yesterday. I think that this is a very hot take, but I think Brunson, with the role of a point guard, I think he does it better than SGA. I think SGA scoring is just more reliable. He's going to bring it scoring-wise. He's going to find a way to score. He's going to find a way to the line always. But I think, I'm not going to lie, he gets help from the refs as well. But outside of that, he's a great creator. But creator for others, Brunson let others go get it. And it doesn't show up on the stat sheet. You have to really watch the game to get it. Last night, he only had 13 points. 15 points, but he really made an impact on that game. He really controlled the ball really well. They were full court pressing him. They were really throwing a lot at him, and the Knicks were not getting a lot of calls last night. There was a lot of hacking going on. If you were watching the game, you saw it. And Brunson was really in control of the basketball the entire time and handled the offense really well when he was in the game. So I think, what they do with SGA, they can't do with Brunson. You can't double team Brunson like that. The Knicks are gonna break down that defense like that. You can't do that. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, I think, again, it'll be interesting to see how Brunson's able to conduct the offense, because I think there's a world where, the Thunder can't get the shooting down reliably, and the Knicks are able to, start smothering SGA or forcing kickouts to less reliable shooters. We saw the Pacers kind of just outshoot the Thunder throughout last year's finals, and that nearly got them a title. Maybe the Knicks are able to do the same to them. For the Spurs, I think it's just more so the lack of options around Wemby, and I think that is what could do them in if they were to play the Knicks in the finals, and I think that's the Knicks' path. Now, should the Knicks be favored? I don't think so, at least against the Thunder. Maybe against the Spurs, but it's not about whether they're the likelier team to win, it's whether they can win, and I think the answer is a clear yes to me.
Yeah, I think coaching-wise, I think they have the best coach in the playoffs right now that's left. I think strategy-wise, I think it's the best. I think their bench is more reliable. I think Shamet is going to bring it. And I think they might have some off games here and there, but I think they will bring it. I think coming into MSG, I think it's going to be different for any of these young teams, OKC or the Thunder. They haven't felt it. They don't know what it's like. So they got to come into MSG. They got to deal with it. I don't think they're going to be ready. That's just what I think.
That is what I think could do the Spurs, and the Thunder, I think, are a little more prepared for it. because they've been to the finals. They've played like hostile games in Denver with like the weird air and everything. They've played, I think they've played in front of, they get enough national media hate where I think they're just kind of like able to, close your eyes, cover your ears, and just go play basketball.
Those flopper chants.
Right.
Go crazy.
SGA knows he's one of the most hated people in the NBA. He has to know that. Or maybe he's so, but like that I think is going to have him prepared to an extent. But he's also someone you can throw off his game, not mentally, just like you can throw him off his game by forcing removing the Thunder from being able to space properly or letting guys who can't shoot. The Thunder's one real flaw is that they have some very shaky 3-point shooting. We saw it last postseason where they couldn't reliably find somebody else to just, hey, here's the rock. Let's go. Yeah. And that, I think, burns you in these settings. And I think this kind of segues again to this conference finals where we've seen the Spurs look like a team, like we've seen two teams that are excellent, dominant, brilliant, but also very flawed. I want to start the Spurs here because they're coming off of a big win. But you also see the cracks. That team sucks when Wemby isn't on the court. Like, that team's a bad basketball team without Wemby. Wemby is... I feel like this only vindicates my belief that he's the best player in the NBA. The Thunder look competitive without SGA. The Spurs, you could convince me the Spurs are cosplaying as fans who got invited to be on the court when Wemby isn't on the court. It's that bad. Like, they look really bad without him.
Well, Cornette, yeah, I see why you say that. With Cornette, he's terrible with his minutes. Honestly, Jackson Hayes is better than Cornette. Let's start the discussion, right? I think
if you're 7 feet tall, go play for the Spurs right now.
Yeah. Even like Carter Bryant, I praised him earlier in the series. He's been shaky here and there, but he's a defensive guy, so I don't really expect him to bring much on offense, but at the same time, you can't really have holes on offense, especially with OKC. You can't really have a guy on offense where you're not thinking about him shooting the basketball. You kind of need that at all times, really.
Here's a crazy split. When Wemby is on the court, the Spurs have a 119.6 offensive rating and a 100.3 opponent offensive rating. So they're dominant. When he's off the court, and this is in the postseason, the Spurs drop to a 110.7 offensive rating, and opponents jump to a 112.5 offensive rating. Yeah. They go from an elite team to a below average basketball team. Not from like great to mediocre, not from great to not great to underwhelming, great to bad, Josh. Great to bad. They're a bad basketball team when he's not on the court. And this is kind of the product of a young team that just kind of entered its contention window. This is normal for these kinds of teams, but this is why you and I are kind of looking at them and going, they can win the finals, they can beat the Thunder, but there is a clear flaw here. There's an Achilles heel. And if you dominate the minutes where Wemby isn't on the court, and you find a way to force enough shots to guys who aren't Wemby when he's on the court, you can beat them. You actually can beat them. Now, the problem is, Wemby is so damn good and so damn unstoppable that when he's on, at that point, you better hope you hit like 50% of your threes. Yeah. So, yeah, they're weird. This is a success of a season, like, no matter what. At this point, like, they can say, we played a competitive Western Conference Finals, we either lost in the finals or we lost to the reigning NBA champions. Fine. But I hope I hope, and I don't think they will end up making these mistakes. Please do not leave Wemby without more help. He needs help. Even if they win it all, he needs more. You need to build more around him. I hope that they're taking in everything from this postseason. This will be good for them. It's going to be good for them.
I think they really just need that extra big off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
That's really it. I mean, they're a young team, so I think they want to keep their core and develop them. Dylan Harper, Castle, like, you want to build these guys. Even Vessel, you want to or Vassell, you want to really develop them. So I think they're going to keep them. I don't really expect too many moves from the Spurs this offseason. I expect a lot of re-signings. But, hey, last game, the Spurs dominated OKC. And the game before that, OKC dominated the Spurs. But then the 2 games before that, it was 2 close games. So if you're looking at the pattern, I'm going with tonight being a close game.
I will as well. And I'll add this, right, for the Thunder. Hey, man, look, they're banged up, right? J-Dub, Don't know what his availability is going to look like for the postseason, right? When you start compounding injuries in the same area, you not only wonder if they're going to come back, you wonder if they're going to come back and stay back, right? And then for Mitchell, he's out, I think, right? Like, that's official. Is he officially out, or is he a game time decision? He's out.
It seems like he's out.
Okay.
And Jalen Williams seems to be the game time decision, so we'll see. We'll see during the broadcast.
Look, I understand, right? This is a team sport. You and I are not one of those types of people who are like, when you lose, it's all on one guy. No, it's not how basketball works.
Yeah, it's a collective. Yeah.
But with that being said, SGA, bro, we're shooting 39% from the field, 27% from three. Like, yo, this is when an MVP's got to be an MVP, right? Like, look, when you are two-time MVP, NBA Finals MVP, NBA champion, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I expect greatness, right? I expect when your guys can't get it done, you get it done. And even if you lose, you got it done, right? When LeBron let's be honest, when the Cavs got the crap knocked out of them by the Warriors in 17 and 18, you didn't look and go, well, LeBron didn't show up. You looked and you went, LeBron did everything he could. It just happens, right? Yeah. Again, I'm not saying SGA's LeBron. Oh, I even look at Jokic. Jokic has lost luster for not playing well in certain series and not playing well in certain matchups. And even if he plays well in a series like last year's OKC series and they lose, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Right? It still gets held against you. Giannis, doesn't matter. He's kept getting hurt in the first round. People have knocked him out of best player in the world conversations because he hasn't gotten out of the first round in God knows how long. For SGA, right? Like, dude, this is bad. This isn't, I don't have spacing. This isn't, guys aren't hitting their shots. This is, dude, you're not shooting. You're not creating spacing. You're not helping your teammates out right now, and your offense has been stagnant because you haven't played well. Now they got time, but it starts tonight. MVP's got to be an MVP. Am I right or am I wrong? I don't know. Maybe I'm being harsh.
Hey, all I know is Knicks fans sound really good right now. All these issues with the Spurs and OKC just sounds really good because the Knicks fans don't got to deal with any of this.
Right.
And the Knicks, you could take off anybody out of the starting lineup. They still look like a decent team.
But I'll also add this. We just talked, you and I agree that Wemby doesn't have a lot of offensive support. Like, certain guys have stepped up, right? But for the most part, right, he's getting hunted in matchups. They're going to leave certain guys open on the perimeter. And what is he doing? It's 30, 13, and 4, 3 blocks a game, 53% from the field, 43% from three. Like, barring an insane turnaround this year from SGA and an insane regression from Wemby, I'm sorry. How can you walk away from this series not thinking Wemby's better than SGA?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think this playoff run kind of exposed SGA, to me at least.
As an offensive engine, I agree.
Just watching that Lakers series, really the Suns too, but just watching this whole playoffs with him, they throw double teams at him. You throw a little extra defender at him. You really make him think instead of just having him one-on-one ISO and get, beta foul call. Like, no, like, he's forced to make a real decision. He's a point guard, right? So let him make smart decisions with the ball and let the offense really come together. He can't really make that happen, or he can't be the leader of an offense that does that. It seems like that's what it seems like.
I just think they're in a tough spot, right? Where if you're SGA, right, you got to kind of get out of your comfort zone. You got to go ball. He's a guy who usually kind of can roll out of bed and drop 30. It's not happening right now. What are we going to do? What's the adjustment? What's it look like? And again, there's time, right? Let's say Game 5 dominates, drops 35, Thunder win. Game 6 drops 35, Thunder win. Goes to the finals, 30, 28, 25, 30, knocks out the Knicks, sweeps them. Whole conversation changes, right? But the one part I don't think I can let change, Josh, is I just think Wemby's better. I just think we've seen the limitations of SGA's game.
If he does all that, I think he's just better. I'm not going to lie to you. I think if he does all that, he's just better, honestly.
Fair. But we don't know, what if Wemby's also excellent and his team just doesn't cover for him, right? Like, my point in all this is to say, like, there is something visible about the limitations of SGA's game because he can't reliably shoot to the degree you'd want, right? Like, he's not being left on an island. Like, he's got to take tough shots. It's a difficult situation, but
yeah.
Or you gotta kind of, I expect more. I expected more out of him this postseason. I've been disappointed. And I think I'm the pro SGA guy here. Like, I think I'm the guy who's the highest on him compared to you. Like, I think I'm higher on SGA than you are.
Probably.
And I'm disappointed. Like, this isn't yo, dude, like if Ant put up these stats, what is everyone calling Ant?
Yeah, he's like choker somewhat, yeah.
Jokic, Giannis, Brunson. The standard, you can extend this if Donovan Mitchell does this.
Yeah.
Right? Like, come on.
Was, with SGA, I remember that streak that he was on, that 20-point streak that he was on. I think this is kind of a consequence of that, where you're relying on a player to do something over and over. Now all of a sudden you don't really have it as reliable anymore. Now it's like you're kind of seeing that shift where it's like, okay, what do we do now? You got to generate offense a different way and make it reliable. They're trying to look to Alex Caruso right now. I mean, I guess. Hey, is he gonna get the job done? Is he gonna?
I think he's a great ball player. I think he's a great ball player because he's such a good defender. But yeah, you don't want to be talking about Alex Caruso as key part of your offense. You want to be talking about him as like occasionally hit some threes, can handle the ball a little bit, but he's getting back on defense. He's doing his thing. He's a marginal part of your offense at best. I don't think the Thunder are screwed because, again, the Thunder are playing flawed basketball, and they also did this last year. Last year, they looked vulnerable and still won the finals. Last year, they looked vulnerable, were pushed to 7 by the Nuggets and the Pacers, and still won the finals. So they've been here before. That's the one thing with the Thunder where I'm like, adversity, this is going wrong, that's going wrong. But I've seen them turn this around. For the Spurs, it's, hey, you're a young, hungry team. This is a chance to go win the finals, and you stamp your era, you're automatically a successful era. Everything you do after is fool's gold, or it's a cherry on top. And for the Knicks, yo, dude, they win the finals, this city's burning down, right? Like, the New York City will explode. It will be a beautiful, joyous ball of fire. I love that there's this much writing, right? Like, SGA becomes 2-time MVP, 2-time NBA champion, 2-time NBA Finals MVP. He ascends. Wemby becomes Finals MVP and wins the finals and beats the Thunder on the way there. Clear-cut best player in the NBA, no questions asked. Jalen Brunson goes and wins NBA Finals and wins Finals MVP. For Cat, too, that's huge for his legacy. Cat's going to the Hall of Fame if that happens. Straight up. Cat and Brunson are going to the Hall of Fame if that happens. Cat and Brunson might get there without it, but they're definitely going with that in hand. Yeah. And Brunson becomes, what, the second greatest Knick ever? Maybe the third? Somewhere in that range. I got to give respect to the 70s guys. Walt Frazier, I got to give respect to him. My boy Clyde. You think he'd be the best? I think it's an argument.
I think in 4 years of you being a Knick, you win a championship. I think you're just the best Knick ever, honestly.
I think he could retire definitely. Like, I think if he just plays out the rest of his career and doesn't have like some crazy fall off, he would definitely retire the best Knick ever.
Maybe.
Like, I
just think that it's a great feeling just to see, man.
And it's great.
That's all I can say.
It's just fun, dude. It's so fun that like fun. Legacy. I love legacy talk, and I love that. Like, again, there are 3 guys who, oh, dude,
won a national championship together, right?
Oh yeah, man. And you're a national champion and you're an NBA champion. That's a pretty good resume to have. And again, for SGA, it's about like, yo, dude, are you a really good he's already a Hall of Famer. He's gonna go to the Hall of Fame. Yeah. He's going to the Hall of Fame.
If you want to get into all-time talk,
oh yeah,
he has to win this one, right?
Because
win the next one.
More Finals MVPs and Finals than Giannis and Jokic. That's kind of a big deal.
First repeat of the era.
It's a huge deal. First team to repeat since Steph Curry, who was the last guy I think to also do Finals MVP. No, he didn't do that. He never did that. He never did that. He never went back. LeBron's the last guy to do it, right? Finals MVP. No, he didn't even win MVP. Both. No, he went. Did he win? No, he didn't. Rose took one of the MVPs.
2012,
right?
2013, yeah. Yeah, LeBron did it, yeah.
So you're the first guy to do something since Miami. You get that? Since Miami, LeBron.
My shoulder.
The elbow, little elbow slip. You got to call a foul on that?
Probably.
Take 2? Josh, you got any final thoughts? Because I'm so hyped. I'm so excited.
I got nothing else to say. I'm just, I'm ready to watch the game tonight. I think it's in OKC, but I'm going with the Spurs tonight. I'm seeing the Spurs. We'll see after, though. I wouldn't be surprised if OKC gets it back in Game 6. I wouldn't be surprised.
usually the team that wins game 5 when it's tied at 2, usually they win the series. It's like 80% or something like that, or 90%. It's a crazy number. Last time I can think of a team doing this again was, well, there's 2 times. Knicks won game 5, lost to the Pacers. Celtics lost game 5, still won the series against Sixers. Shout out James Harden. Yeah. Let's see what happens. Game 5, Spurs Thunder. We'll have our reactions to that. This will be up before then. And we'll obviously come back to you guys when that series is over. We'll preview the finals. We'll talk about that. There might be some more stuff coming out, but check out our social media pages for short form content. For more of us, you can follow our personal pages. Links to that will be in the description as well. Man, let's keep getting good basketball, man. I want this has been a really fun postseason. We appreciate you guys joining us. And if this is your first time watching, thank you for sticking through to the end. If this is another episode that you've been watching, welcome back. And thank you again for everything you guys have done for us. And yeah, man, let's I'll call it a wrap here. Like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell. See you in the next one. Peace out, everybody.